All right, we're back with another pick'em video. It is Monday, November 3rd in the NBA. We got that weekend out of the way for the NBA because I was horrible. I don't remember the last time I gave you guys a winning pick, but we're going to show you the recap. We're now under a unit for the entire season. We started very hot. Now we've hit a little bit of a cold streak. I know the comments are going to be like, fade this guy. Honestly, I make these videos. You guys can watch the videos. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, absolutely fade me. If you think I'm a horrible bettor, go ahead and fade me. But I think during the course of the season, we're going to hit these hot streaks like we typically do, and we're going to be up for the entire season. I'd also like to point out, I think I'm one of the only people that show every single day their wins and losses and their entire season record. I'd like you guys to point out other people that do that, because I know there's not many. There's a few, but there's not many. And the transparency is key. A lot of people come on here and be, hey, I had 2 winning days in a row. People think that guy's the man. And then they come on the next day when they lose and they just brush over it like it's nothing. Be like, oh, I won in the Discord, even though they gave out, some losing plays. That's going to happen. People are going to lose plays. No one's going to win. If you're going 50-50 plays, no one's going to win 80% of the time. We're, going to be happy with about a 56, 57% win rate. That's going to be huge and it can be profitable for the entire season. So a little bit of a rant, but let's get into the recap of yesterday. Tyrese Maxey over 28.5 points. It was a blowout. And, Kelly Oubre played really well. A lot of guys chipped in, but he played 39 minutes. So that was a loss right there, to be totally honest. He only got the free throw line 4 times. I thought he was going to get there a bunch of times. Ends with 26 points on the night. DeAndre Ayton didn't play. And then Jusuf Nurkic, maybe a horrible read, in my opinion. I talked about his, revenge game and all these different things. He didn't have any sort of revenge. He looked horrible. He looked old. Looked like he should have been a wheelchair out there. He ends with like 14. And honestly, I play all these plays along with you guys right here. Jusuf Nurkic, the only guy that didn't hit. This has been a 25x play, and he sold it. But that's going to happen. And the amount of times I've been, one-legged on a 6-man or 5-man with these huge payouts, more times than I can count, doesn't affect me anymore. But when it was Jusuf Nurkic, a guy that I gave out in the video picks, a guy that I was confident in, and he sells my 6-man parlay for a 25x plus 2,400 payout, yeah, that pisses me off a little bit. So again, I'm not changing anything. I'm going to do the exact same thing I've always done. We were super hot at the beginning of the year, and now we're just on a cold streak. Again, we're only down minus 1.32 units on every single play I've given you guys throughout the entire year. There's been about 61 of them, and hopefully you guys haven't just showed up the last 3 days because we've been cold. But we're going to turn it around at some point. Hopefully that's today. So hopping into Props Madness to actually start talking about some plays. I brushed this over, but I do really appreciate the positive comments I got last video. I was expecting a ton of negative comments, and most people were like, yo, we know what you're doing. We know how you do this throughout the entire season. We actually love the transparency when you have bad days. That's not going anywhere, so I appreciate anyone that does that. Any negative comments, I literally don't care. I might give it back to you in a little bit of a reply, but it's all in good fun on my side of things. So let's hop into the first play, and everyone's going to hate this thing. I'm fading Keyonte George assists, 7.5. I'm looking at the under, minus 111 on DraftKings right now. Obviously, he's been green pretty much throughout the entire season. Even the game he missed, he had 7 assists on 11 potentials in a 23-point loss. Now, why am I fading this? Well, he's had some pretty cushy matchups for some assists. We can see opponent assists allowed. They've either been very high, 24th ranked, 23rd ranked, 20th ranked, or you can see, okay, the Trailblazers, they're 4th in allowed in assists allowed. He's crept over with 8, did have 12 potential, so very good at translating that, but you can see the dominant assist zone that's inside the paint. The Celtics defend that very well. You can see the Trailblazers here ranked 26th in that department. So this is a very, very difficult matchup for him to get some assists. The Celtics have been very much locking in the paint. They're allowing a whole lot of threes, but when you get in the paint, they're either defending it well or they're sending you to the free throw line. You can't get an assist if you send someone to a free throw line. And again, just to kind of summarize, the Celtics rank 4th in the restricted area in terms of assists allowed. They rank 5th in terms of inside the 3-point line. They do allow a decent amount of assists on the 3-point line, but that's not something we're worried about because I looked into how Keyonte George has been getting his assists. We can take a look at this website. I found it last year, and Keyonte George and Lauri Markkanen are the #1 combo in terms of assists to a scorer. 21 assists from Keyonte George to Lauri Markkanen. But the good thing here is 17 of those assists have come from 2-point range, where the Celtics are extremely good at defending so far this year in terms of allowing assists. Lauri Markkanen shoots a lot of threes, and he's only had 4 assists from Keyonte George on 3-pointers. If you take a look at Keyonte George, who else he's passing to, if I can spell his name right, you can see that his #2 target is Walker Kessler. Walker Kessler is not going to be playing in this game. We just saw how bad Jusuf Nurkic was down low. So I'm loving to see Walker Kessler's out of this. Lauri Markkanen, a lot of his assists, most of them, grand majority of them, are coming from 2-point conversions. And if we go take a look at how Lauri Markkanen is going to score his points tonight, now he might have a field day from behind the arc, but that doesn't really affect us too much because, again, we've only seen 4 assists from Keyonte George to Lauri Markkanen onto 3-pointers. He might get to the free throw line a bunch of times. The Celtics have been hackers so far this season, but I'm not worried about free throws. Keyonte George can't get an assist on a free throw. Then you look at some guys that have played similarly to Lauri Markkanen, and they've struggled. DeAndre Hunter was the guy that went over his line, but Donovan Mitchell in that game was hobbled up. This line probably should have been higher anyway. I think it did jump up to like 20 points a game before the tip-off. Jabari Smith Jr., 13.5. He ended with 12. Trey Murphy III only had 7 points in that game against the Celtics. It was a huge blowout. So you combo that with no Walker Kessler, his second best target. You combo the fact that Lauri Markkanen, maybe gets his grand majority of points today from three-pointers or free throws, neither of which Keyonte George assists too much in this season. And I'm really liking this potential for the under. So Keyonte George under 7.5 assists is the first play of the video. Moving along, the next play here, it's going to be Jarace Walker of the Indiana Pacers, taking his under 14.5, minus 111 on DraftKings right now. Obviously, the hit rate looks better in this one, but I will say Nembhard's out, Obi Toppin's out, Ben McMathurin's out, obviously Tyrese Halliburton's out. So Jarace Walker has been getting extended time, but I will say the games he's putting up a lot of shots, 5 of 19 here, they lose that game. 6 of 13 here. They lose that game by 20. And he got 30 minutes last game, and that was against the Warriors. They won that game by 5, and we saw a big game from guys like Pascal Siakam and Aaron Nesmith, who probably should be the main guys in this thing. I don't want to see Jarace Walker shooting 19 times. And if he does shoot 19 times, we're probably cooked in this line. But I don't love the matchup for him here. Going up against the Milwaukee Bucks, they are 6.5-point underdogs. Giannis doesn't like this team. The Bucks don't like this team in general. Giannis might go crazy tonight, and it's not a matchup that he wants to be in terms of scoring right now. Transition, Bucks ranked 6, pick and roll ball handling, rank 11, spot up, they rank 12th. Handoff, 1.7 points per game on handoffs. So I don't like this matchup for Jarace Walker. I think when he's shot the ball a ton, they've been losing these games. There is a lot of injuries. There's got to be shots to go around, but I think the Bucks come in here and handle some business. And if not, I think it's going to be Siakam. I think it's going to be Nesmith. I think it's going to be some of these other guys that are really scoring the ball. Because again, that's a recipe for success. They beat this Warriors team just last game with guys like Siakam. I think he had like 20-something points, 27 points there. Big game from him. And you give the ball to Nesmith, who shot a bunch in that game, 19 shots in that game, and you go ahead and win that. So I think these guys are better offensive players, better established players than a guy like Jarace Walker. If Jarace Walker, like any play, I come out here with an under. If Jarace Walker comes out, hits his first few shots, then they're going to be feeding that guy. But I think the Bucks come in here with vengeance. This is at Milwaukee too. I think it's going to be too loud for these guys with all the injuries piling up. And hopefully there's a nice blowout for us and Jarace Walker doesn't even get a shot. Third play I like here is going to be Steven Adams over his 6.5 rebounds. It's plus 100 right now. And obviously the hit rate on this looks great, 4 or 5 games. But you can also see the blue line, which is minutes right now, trending downward. Now, I think he's going to get around 20 minutes per game. The other thing I want to point out is the fact that Jabari Smith is questionable right now. If he is ruled out, that's going to be more opportunity for Steven Adams to come in here and play. But we've seen guys like Taurean and Jabari Smith Jr. kind of outplay Steven Adams a little bit. They don't love running that huge lineup anymore. But we can see definitely Steven Adams is going to come in. He's been playing around that much time in normal games. This is a 18-point win. He still got 20 minutes against the Raptors. This is a 27-point win against the Celtics. He still got 14 minutes. And you can see even in the limited time, 16 minutes, 20 minutes, he's able to gobble up some boards. Now he gets the Dallas Mavericks. They're ranked 28th in terms of rebounds allowed right now. Offensive and defensive, they give up a ton. You can also see guys, Hartenstein, Pirtle, Sarr, all over the rebounds line. Beef Stew didn't get there, but I do like the opportunity for Steven Adams to come in here. We can see all the games that he's been playing, he's projected for 20 minutes right now, even 18 to 22 minutes. He's over this in 75% of those games. So it's a really good matchup for him to get some boards. I think he can go out and do it. And even with the minutes trending down, he's not going to get 5 minutes. I could definitely expect something like 14 to 20 maybe, 15 to 20. And if Jabari Smith Jr. gets ruled out, you're going to see something like 20 to 25 hopefully. So 6.5 boards looks a little bit too low for a great matchup. And my boy Steven Adams can gobble up boards quick. In the fourth and final play I like here, it's going to be Austin Reaves, and it's going to be his 23.5 points, minus 115 right now on BetMGM. Now you're looking at this matchup and you're like, ew, I don't love that. He shoots a lot above the break threes, but he also gets to the free throw line a bunch, especially if a guy like Luka Doncic, back-to-back situation, maybe gets ruled out or is a little bit limited. I'm not banking on that, but if it does happen, we know this line is going to shoot way up. And you can also see guys like Jamal Murray, Keyonte George, Steph Curry, and by the way, Austin Reaves himself scored 41 against these guys when Luka was out of the game. So he knows how to score against them. It looks like a tough matchup above the break threes and things like that. But pick and roll ball handling, free throws, transition, all these guys he thrives with, especially these last two with Luka. I don't mind it. Honestly, if Luka plays, I don't mind it. If Luka doesn't play, I don't mind it. We can actually look at games last year, games without LeBron James and games with Luka. He went over this in a ton of games even last year. So we can see the Austin Reaves kind of setting the world on fire right now, but even dating back to last year, 28, 28, 30 in a few of these games with Luka and without LeBron. So I'm liking this spot. 23.5 just seems a little bit too low for my guy. He's been absolutely dominating so far this season. And if Luka is ruled out, that's going to be awesome too. This line's going to shoot way up. It is a back-to-back situation. I don't think that's going to affect Austin Reaves. But again, like I've said 5 times, it could affect someone like Luka. So Austin Reaves, I think, is going to put the shoulders, or the weight of the shoulders on him, and hopefully he scores a whole bunch of points like he's doing very, very consistently so far this season. Even in the game he missed, 21 points in that one. So really liking Austin Reaves. Luka and him are really the only 2 scorers on that team, and hopefully that continues into, again, a little bit more of a difficult matchup against the Trailblazers. But he's handled them before, and we've seen guards absolutely on fire against these guys. Then I actually have one more play. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of something on it. We're going to do the recap here in a second, but CJ McCollum over 2.5 3-pointers. It's a plus 162 right now on DraftKings. Other than those first 2 duds, he's been pretty locked in the past 4 games for this team. Now it is a 12.5 point spread. That's what you have to worry about. But I like the volume he's been getting up against. Even against like the Thunder, he shot 5 of 8 threes. Shot 3 of 4 here, but then back this game 4 of 11 and then 2 of 6. The volume has been pretty good, and now he's got the New York Knicks, who have been a horrible team at defending the above the break threes. Spot up shooting, that's his number 1 source of scoring. 26 there. Above the break threes, 45% of his shots are coming from there, especially his 3-pointers. They're ranked 29th there. So pretty good matchup here. I thought this plus 162 is pretty crazy. But yeah, I think it's a good matchup. Sprinkle something on it. Don't throw a whole unit on it. But plus 162, pretty good volume. And especially Chris Middleton's also questionable in this game. So I think CJ, if he gets the time, hopefully 25 plus minutes if it's not a super blowout. And I think he could get there. So it is going to be an official video pick, but not a full unit play. So that's going to do it for me in this one. Reminder to sign up for Underdog using my code RichPicks or link in the description down below. Play 5, get $100 in fantasy bonus funds. So essentially $95 free dollars to mess around and bet with just by betting $5. Use code RichPicks. Definitely check out Props Madness. That was a tool I was using all throughout the video. Super fun to use. 25% off your first month. Leave the link in the description down below. And then, of course, if you want access to all of my plays, join the Rich Club. That is my Discord community. You can get in plenty of ways for free by signing up using my codes to pretty much anything out here. And also, it's pretty cheap. You can get 50% off your first month just using the link in the description down below. But let's get into the recap. I know you guys want to see that. And we got 5 plays. Hopefully this turns it around for us. Again, I apologize for 3 bad days in a row. I never want to do that. I play these guys alongside with you, and I hate losing days. But they're going to happen, and we're going to break out of it at some point. Hopefully it's today. Keyonte George, under 7.5 assists. I know not people are going to like that one because of the chart. He's been going over, but I think it's a tough matchup for him. Jarace Walker, under 14.5 points. Steven Adams, over 6.5 rebounds. I know it's not going to be a lot of time in the court, but he can gobble them up quick. Austin Reaves over 23.5 points, and then CJ McCollum, sprinkle half unit on this, 2.5 threes, plus 164 on FanDuel. All right, so that'll do it for me in this one. If you guys enjoyed the video, definitely go ahead and leave it a like, because if I get to 150 likes, I will add a pinned play comment. That will be a 6th official video pick later on the day, if we do reach that. And comment something down below. I want to hear you guys' thoughts. Are you done with me after 3 bad days in a row? Or are you totally understanding of the fact that there's ebbs and flows, ups and downs to this whole thing, and it will turn around at some point. I've been doing this for a while. I know my strategy is tried and true, and the season's just beginning. We've got a lot of time to make up, and the win streak that's going to come down the line is going to be just as long or longer than this. It's not the end of the world. It's not like we're doing horrible reads and missing everything by a million. And if you do think that, instead of leaving a comment, why don't you go ahead and fade me for a few weeks and see how that goes for you? Is that a threat? Potentially. But yeah, no, all fun and games. Hopefully you guys are betting for entertainment at the end of the day and not spending too much and putting too much stake in everything. This is entertainment. If you bet, I like to watch the games. Makes it a little bit more fun. And yeah, so check out all the links in the description down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace out.